Welcome back to the Summer Diaries series, where I take you along my summer travels throughout South Africa and Japan. This episode, I spend my time working at a safari lodge, going on game drives, and learning the ins and outs of what it's like to work at a lodge.
I don't have to look no further, 'cause I've reached my destination. I used to be lost, but now I'm found. As long as I know that you'll be around, I don't have to keep.
After getting ready for the day, I headed into the lodge where I ate my breakfast, and then I had to go out to do room checks. So essentially, we go to every room and make sure there's hot water, and also just make sure everything looks nice and is in its right place. Afterwards, I headed out to go help out set up for bush drinks, and then of course, because I'm always eating, I went to go get my lunch from the kitchen, which was a spicy chicken pot pie, which was very, very good. And of course, no rest for the wicked, so we went out to go help with bush drinks again, this time picking up all the food and driving over to the actual site. We set up all the drinks, which for the night I was bartending, and it was a big success. I ended up getting back relatively early, so I just finished getting ready and went to bed. The next day, I got ready and ended up going out for a morning game drive where we saw some nyala, a herd of elephants, and we saw some baby hippos, which was so adorable. I ended up working high tea, so I got to bring some food home with me, which I had for dinner. It was so delicious. They had lamb kebabs and a pasta salad, and it was just the most delicious food of all time. The next day, it was of course bush breakfast, so I was awake bright and early. I had to put on my jacket because it's very cold.
Just another sunny.
The first thing we had to do to set up was go to pick up everything from the various locations. It was kind of scattered throughout the lodge, so it took a little bit of time. Everything's loaded, so we should be going to the spot now.
Don't let them transform you.
We arrived at the spot where we set up for bush breakfast, and we first began setting up tables and chairs, which is a very tedious process, carrying them up and down the hill. We moved the car forward, and then we lit the fire to get that going for what would be cooking later. I thought the sunrise was so beautiful and had to take a million pictures of it, of course. After picking up some more stuff, I was headed back to my tent. Okay, back for like 30 minutes. I'm gonna change, do my hair, and just look more presentable. Okay, ready to go. I'm gonna journal for a bit and then off to go get food, set up, sit around for a few hours until people show up. We then headed back to the main lodge to pick up all the food and load it into the truck before heading back out to the spot and getting it set up very nice. This day I was in charge of the toast stand again, so I went ahead and grilled all the toast by hand, and I worked here for the majority of the time. Good morning. So the scones are blueberries, and then we have freshly made toast. Literally was making it 2 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, not a bad place to be.
I'd say, how cool is that?
Yeah, exactly. This breakfast was really fun because I got to chat with a lot of guests who were wondering why I was here, an American working at a safari lodge, and I always just love to answer questions about it. After breakfast, I was invited to go out to game drive, where we actually ended up finding this elephant with a tire on its leg. So we called the vet and we got to help the elephant get free. So essentially they had to dart the elephant in order to get the tire off its leg, which was so cool because then we had a couple minutes to be able to take photos with it before he woke up. Eventually, after about 10 minutes, he came back, woke up, and we headed out on another drive. I just watched an elephant and got to touch it. What is my life? Anyways, we're going out on drive again. I'm back at my room to get my bag. But oh my gosh. I just touched an elephant. He's fine now. He walked back up. That is the craziest experience I've ever had in my life. So then we headed back on drive, and when I returned, I had a special hyena friend come to visit me, who I lovingly named Herman, the hyena, who is now my best friend. June 4th was an extra early wake-up call, as the guests and also myself were invited to do a rhino dehorning, so we took a bunch of food to this other lodge with us and drove it all the way there. I was lucky enough that there were a couple empty seats. I was able to jump on one of the game vehicles to go and watch the rhino dehorning.
You see how it's actually loose. So it's attached, obviously it's not fully attached to the skull here, it's got a growth plate that it grows from. So here's the base of the horn. What we typically do is super scientific method of 4 fingers from the base of the horn. And then I'll mark with a piece of chalk, and that's where my first square cut is going to be, and we like it to be a little bit higher. You're welcome to crack on with the collar.
No, we're just waiting for...
Oh. The reason being that exactly the same as your fingernail. If you cut too deeply on your fingernail, you're going to bleed and it's going to hurt. And it's the same principle. Where the horn grows from is a little conical growth plate. And so we want to avoid that as much as possible. So we cut high, we see where we are, and then we start to round off as much as possible. The back horn we can actually take quite low. So we can probably take that 2 fingers from the skull, and we just take off about that much there. And you'd expect, if there's good nutrition, the animals are healthy, if we didn't dehorn again, in about 5 to 7 years, they'd have a full horn. I saw one of my first rhino the other day that we've missed since the first dehorning in 2019. We did our 4th operation on a reserve. He's evaded us the whole time, and when we got to him, he was in 6 years he had a full horn. The only thing that you could tell he'd been dehorned is that the end was just a little bit blunt, so it was just tipped. So in time you'll just obviously sharpen that out. So yeah, this is actually really cool to see. I haven't seen a full horn on Socialite since, wow.
So the reason that they dehorn the rhinos is essentially to keep them from being poached, because a lot of people will want to come and hunt the rhinos for their horns. So it was a really cool process to see and to know that we were doing something good to keep the rhinos alive. Then we saw some friendly giraffes and also this adorable dog who was so cute, and we headed back to the lodge. Essentially we got back, sat around the office for a while, and then I returned to my tent and enjoyed KFC and a strawberry daiquiri, and Herman, my best friend, decided to come back for a visit. After getting ready for the day, I journaled for a while in reception, waiting for guests to check out, and then I was invited to go to a wine workshop before going out on game drive, which ended up being very miserable because it was raining the entire time. However, to make up for it, because there were no guests, we did enjoy a braai that night. The next day, I was invited to stay at Manor House, where I had this beautiful bed and work area, as well as this gorgeous view. It was super cool to get the guest experience as well while I was here, just because I had been staying in this tent and then I had suddenly so much space. So I, of course, had to go utilize the facilities. So I made myself a hot chocolate and enjoyed it while watching the outdoors and journaling for a while. I'm going to go to my tent and pack up stuff before morning meeting. I have a new bracelet for my stack. It's this cheetah one. So that's cool. Because I changed rooms so suddenly, it did take me a second to go pack up all my stuff, but it honestly didn't take that long, and I ended up packing it all up and then going to go on a short game drive to see the hyenas, which we ended up seeing 2 babies, which was so cute. They were siblings and they were both at this den, and it was just a really good drive because it was just so beautiful out and it was perfect weather to go for a drive, contrasting the day before. So I worked for a bit, just sitting around, and then going to the spa because they wanted to try out a treatment. coming back to my room. I need to shower, dry my hair, get changed before I host tonight. Here is the makeup for tonight. Very simple. I haven't done makeup in literally forever, so this was very nice.
Thought we were going places, turning the memory.
I got all ready for hosting and then headed back to the lodge. We did all the room checks and then we essentially just take people's orders and go table to table making sure everything's okay. At the end of the night, we were also giving a risotto and a creme brulee.
Me, but I'm left with my sins. Pictures from the past coming towards me like an ocean. Don't know where it ends, can't see the end, but I know this ain't over. Feeling broken on my knees, Lord knows that I tried. Heaven could be anywhere, I can read the signs. I'm in way too deep again, there's no way to hide. Heaven could be anywhere, heaven could be anywhere. I don't wanna lie, scared inside my mind.
Okay, happy Saturday. It is gonna be a good day. I can just tell. No, it's gonna be a good day. Saturday, we have guests coming in. We already have guests. So we have a 7-pack, a 4-pack, and a 2-pack checking in today. We already have a 2-pack and a 4-pack today. But tonight's Boma, so I have like nothing going on pretty much. This lighting is really good. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go brush my teeth and change clothes. I finally got ready for the day and I was obsessed with my outfit. I think it's pretty good. Like, it's very simple. It's giving, I work on a lodge. Jewelry. I'm just doing my normal earrings because I had hoops in for like the last 3 days and I finally changed them last night, and so I'm just gonna keep these in for today because I don't want to irritate my ear. So yeah, here's the look. So I'm leaving in like 10 minutes, so I am going to pack a little bit because this is the mess that I have going on behind me. So I'm just gonna pack up a little bit because I'm leaving in like 4 days. So I think it's better to just keep everything together at this point. And I'm only at this spot in particular. I'm moving back to my tent here after 2 nights. So yeah, I have 2 more nights here and then 2 nights in my tent and I leave, which is kind of crazy to me. I was thinking about this. I was like, it doesn't feel like I've been here that long. But I have. So yeah, I'm going to pack a little bit so that it'll be, there's a bird. So that it'll be easier for me to move out here. Oh my God. So it'll be easier for me to move out here in a few days. I can't speak. I did have a herd of elephants come visit me this morning before I headed out to go do room checks. Because we had such a large group checking in today, it was essential that we check all of their rooms, which I was in charge of mostly the bathrooms and checking all the water and making sure that ran correctly and every single room had hot water. We did have a surprise with a snake near one of the rooms, which we did have to call some of the guides and trackers to come get, which they were eventually able to get it down. I enjoyed some lunch and then I went to go have a bath. And finally I ended my night with some pasta. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for the next episode of Summer Diaries. And please subscribe if you enjoyed.
Ocean. I'm down to my land. Can't see the end, but I know this ain't over. Feeling broken on my knees.